pregnant for the water god. The night was unusually quiet in Umawagu. Even the crickets held their breath. The only sound came from the soft hiss of the old lantern sitting on the clay table in Adana's hut. Its flame flickered weakly, painting trembling shadows on the brown walls. Adana sat on the floor with her knees pressed tightly to her chest. Her eyes were wide but empty, fixed on nothing. She could hear her little brother Lucky giggling nearby, trying to swat flies with his crooked hands. The boy was born with twisted legs, but his laughter was bright, too bright for a night that heavy. Each time the lantern light flickered, their shadows danced strangely on the wall, thin, bending figures that looked like spirits moving behind them. Adana shivered and hugged herself tighter. Her mind refused to stay still. It kept running back to one place: the river. That river. To outsiders, it was just a winding stretch of water that separated Umawagu from the forest beyond. But everyone in the village knew better. That river had memory, it had hunger, and it never forgot. Old Nana, their great-grandmother, had said it many times with her crackling voice. "Children, keep away from the water. The river is never satisfied. Every 6 moons it takes someone, mostly a child. Don't ask why. Just don't go near it." The old woman had been dead 3 years now, yet her warnings clung to Adana's mind like smoke. She had always listened, but Adaora, her twin, never did. Adaora was the brave one, the curious one, the one who thought the world was full of laughter and beauty. She said the river sparkled like diamonds in the sun. She said it whispered her name softly at dusk, like a friend calling from afar. Adana hated that. She hated how Adaora laughed off Nana's stories, how she always dragged her along whenever she went exploring. Twins were supposed to stick together, even when one had more sense than the other. That fateful afternoon came like any other. Warm, golden, harmless. The sky was blue and the breeze smelled of fresh yam leaves. Adaora had tied her wrapper high above her knees, and her plaits bounced as she skipped ahead on the narrow path. "Hurry up, Adana!" she shouted, laughing. Adana followed behind, frowning, her bare feet kicking the dust. "Adaora, we shouldn't go there," she said softly. "Grandma Nana said the river is hungry again. She said—" Adaora spun around with that same mischievous grin. "Adana, you're always afraid of nothing. It's just water, not a spirit. Do you think a river can eat people?" Adana bit her lip and said nothing. She never liked to argue. Adaora always won. When they reached the riverbank, the world went quiet for a moment. The water shimmered in the sunlight like melted glass. It looked calm, too calm. Adana hesitated at the edge. "Adaora, let's just go back," she whispered. But her twin only laughed and waded straight in. "Come on, the water is cool," she shouted, splashing playfully. Adana's stomach tightened. The surface of the river looked alive, as if it was breathing. She wanted to run, but Adaora's laughter drew her closer. Against her better judgment, she stepped into the shallows. The cold gripped her ankles, and for a moment she forgot her fear. The sisters chased each other through the water, splashing and laughing. Their giggles echoed through the trees. The river seemed to hum with them, a low, deep sound that came from somewhere below. Then, suddenly, silence. Adana stopped. Something was wrong. The ripples on the surface began to move strangely, swirling though there was no wind. Her laughter died in her throat. "Adaora," she said softly, "the water, it's moving." Adaora rolled her eyes and said, "You in your imagination." But before she could finish, a dark shape appeared beneath the water, large and human-like, yet not human at all. Adana's heart froze. The figure rose slowly, its form made entirely of liquid, its face shapeless and shifting like smoke trapped under glass.
Adana screamed. The thing moved fast, too fast, wrapping its watery arms around her waist. Adana lunged forward, grabbing her sister's hand, but the grip was too strong. "Adana, hold on!" she cried. Her voice broke, her eyes wide with terror. The water surged upward like a living wall, swallowing her scream. Adana clawed at the air, her fingers tearing at nothing. And then, in an instant, the river went calm again. The surface rippled once, then stilled. No sign of Adaora. No sign of life. The birds had stopped singing. Adana stood frozen, her chest heaving. Then she fell to her knees, screaming her sister's name until her voice cracked. The echo came back empty. She ran. Her legs burned as she tore through the forest path, branches slashing her arms, tears blinding her. She didn't stop until she reached the clearing where their family's hut stood, a small, round home with a thatched roof, now glowing orange under the angry sun. "Mama! Papa!" she screamed, stumbling inside. Her mother sat on a low stool nursing Lucky. The tiny fingers clutched her wrapper as he fed. Her father stood near the doorway, a woven basket strapped to his back, ready for the farm. "Adana," she frowned. "What is it? Why are you crying?" Adana couldn't speak, but her words came out broken, trembling. "Adaora! The river! It took her!" The room froze. Her father's eyes widened. The basket slipped from his back, landing with a dull thud. "What did you say?" he asked slowly, his voice heavy. "The river. I saw it. She went inside. I told her not to. Then something came out and took her." Her mother gasped, clutching Lucky tighter. The baby began to cry, his tiny voice piercing the tense air. Her father didn't speak again. He grabbed his katana from the wall and stormed out. "Stay here," he barked. "I will bring her back." "Papa, please come back," Adana cried, but running after him. But his long strides carried him away. By the time she reached the trees, he was already at the water's edge, shouting into the still river. "Where is my daughter?" he roared. "Give her back to me." The river only shimmered silently. "I said bring her back," he yelled again, stepping into the water. His katana flashed in the sunlight as he struck the surface in rage. Adana stood trembling at the edge of the forest. "Papa, please come back. It's not safe." But the water began to stir again. A strong current wrapped around his legs. He stumbled, then fell. "Papa!" Before she could reach him, the river rose up like a beast. It dragged him under in one swift motion. His katana glimmered once, then vanished. Adana froze. The water stilled again, pretending to be innocent, as the same before. She fell to her knees, her cries echoing through the trees. "No, no, Papa." The river didn't answer. By the time she stumbled back home, her face was covered in tears and dust. Her mother was waiting at the doorway, her eyes already red. "Where is he?" she asked, her voice shaking. Adana couldn't speak. She only shook her head. Her mother's wail pierced the village sky, and neighbors began to gather. Some whispered prayers, others backed away, fear spreading among them like smoke. Everyone in Umawagu knew, when the river took someone, it never gave them back. That night no one slept. The lantern burned low, and Adana sat in silence beside her mother, who rocked Lucky in her arms, singing broken lullabies through her tears. Outside, the wind carried whispers from the river, soft, haunting sounds that brushed against the hot walls. Adana could swear she heard her sister's voice in that wind. "Adana," it whispered faintly, "come back, come to the water." She covered her ears, trembling, but the whisper didn't stop. It seeped through her thoughts like the river's cold fingers reaching from afar. In the distance, thunder rumbled even though the sky was clear. The villagers said the gods were speaking, and the water god was angry. Adana didn't understand why the river had chosen her family, but something deep inside her knew this was only the beginning. As the night deepened, she stared into the darkness outside their hut. The moonlight glinted faintly on the path that led to the river. It felt as though something out there was watching her, waiting, and from the depths of that cursed water, unseen eyes stared back.